But when Daniel Myers took the job at Red Valley High, he thought it was his ticket to stability. He'd spent the last 7 years bouncing between schools, budget cuts, relocations, personal burnout. At 33, he was tired of packing boxes every semester. Red Valley was supposed to be different. A quiet town, a small school, good pay. His first day began normally enough. He parked beside the faded basketball court, coffee in hand, and watched the morning fog curl through the pine trees behind the gym. The building itself was old, built in 1951, with those long, dim corridors that smelled faintly of mold and cleaning chemicals. The principal, Miss Reed, greeted him in the front office. "Welcome to Red Valley," she said with a tight smile. "You'll have room 305, top floor, west wing." Daniel nodded. "Got it." He scanned the school map on the wall, a large laminated diagram. "West wing, second floor, rooms 301 through 304, no 305. "Sorry," he said, squinting. "There's no 305 listed here." "Ms." Reed's smile faltered for half a second, just enough for him to notice. "Oh," she said lightly. "That's an old layout. We had some renovations done. You'll find it, end of the hall, last door." By third period, Daniel made his way to the west wing. The hallway was oddly quiet. No lockers, no posters, just gray, painted walls and ceiling tiles yellowed by time. He passed room 301's history, 302 math, 303 science, 304 empty storage. At the end of the corridor was a door, unmarked, old, and slightly warped. No window, no number, just a black metal handle. "This must be 305, he murmured. When he opened it, the smell hit him first, stale, dusty, like a place that hadn't been used in years. The lights flickered weakly when he flipped the switch. The room was small, maybe 20 desks, all covered in a fine layer of chalk dust. Someone had written on the blackboard in faint white letters, "Class dismissed." Daniel smiled, thinking maybe the janitor had a sense of humor. He spent the next hour cleaning up, wiping desks, stacking chairs, trying to make the place livable. But the more time he spent there, the stranger it felt. The air was colder inside, and every few minutes he swore he heard a faint scratching behind the back wall. Probably rats, he told himself. Old buildings always have them. After lunch, Daniel went to the main office to collect his attendance sheet. Miss Reed handed him a folder. "Here's your class list," she said. He flipped through the pages. Names, grade levels, ID numbers. 32 students. But something odd caught his eye. The last name on the list was typed differently, slightly misaligned. Student 32's I, Lena Morrin, ID 4583. He shrugged it off. Probably a formatting error. That afternoon, he met his students, bright, restless teenagers, the usual mix of chatter and phone screens. But as he called roll, something strange happened. Emily Parsons. "Here." Jacob Lee. "Here." Lena Morrin. Silence. He looked up. A few students exchanged looks, confused. "There's no Lena in this class," one girl said. "Never heard of her?" Daniel frowned. "Are you sure? She's on the roster." "Yeah," another boy said. "That's weird. I've been in this class all year. No Lena." He circled the name and made a note to ask the office later. After school, Daniel stopped by the faculty lounge. Mr. Harris, the janitor, was there sipping coffee. He was in his 60s, quiet, with a slow way of speaking that made every word feel deliberate. "Hey," Daniel said. "You've been here a long time?" 30 years, Harris replied. "Why?" Daniel smiled. "Just curious. Have you ever heard of room 305? Harris froze, mug halfway to his lips. Then he set it down slowly. "Who told you that number?" "Oh, the principal." "It's my classroom." The janitor stared at him for a long moment. Then he said, quietly, "That room's not supposed to be used anymore." Daniel frowned. "Why not?" Harris didn't answer. He just walked to the bulletin board on the wall, pulled down an old staff photo from 2002, and pointed at something in the background. There, in the far left corner, was a door. Room 305. Standing in front of it was a girl. Pale, dark-haired, wearing an old-fashioned uniform. "Who's that?" Daniel asked. Harris hesitated. "Lena Morrin." Daniel's blood went cold. That night, he stayed up late grading papers. The hallway outside was dark, silent except for the hum of the fluorescent lights. At 8:17 p.m., the bell rang. Once, Daniel froze. He checked the clock. The system shouldn't even be running. Then, faintly from the back of the room, came a whisper. Messer. Myers. He turned, heart pounding. Nothing. Just the row of empty desks. He grabbed his bag and headed for the door. But it wouldn't open. The handle wouldn't budge. You called my name. He spun around. At the far corner of the room, near the blackboard, stood a girl. Dark hair, uniform, pale face. Who? Before he could finish, the lights flickered, and she was gone. On the board, where class dismissed had been written earlier, the chalk now read, You forgot to mark my present. The next morning, Daniel stormed into the principal's office. There's a problem, he said, voice shaking. Who was Lena Morrin? Ms. Reed went still. I think you should focus on your classes, she said quietly. He didn't back down. Something happened in that room. Finally, she sighed. Lena Morrin was a student here. She died in 2003. Found in that classroom. They said she fell from the second-floor window. After that, we closed the room. Removed it from the map. It was supposed to stay locked. Then why give me that room? She looked genuinely confused. I didn't. The West Wing only has 4 classrooms. Daniel stared at her. Then where have I been teaching? They went together to the West Wing, room 301, 302, 303, 304. At the end of the hall, a blank wall, no door, no handle, no sign it had ever existed. Daniel's pulse roared in his ears. He stepped closer, pressed his hand to the wall. Cold, smooth. Solid concrete. No, he whispered. It was here, yesterday. But there was nothing. When they checked the security cameras, the footage showed Daniel walking to the end of the hall and stopping at the wall, talking to it, gesturing, writing on air. No door, no room, no students. Daniel left Red Valley 2 weeks later. He never taught again. But before he quit, he received an unmarked envelope in his mailbox. Inside was a single page, a photocopy of a death record. Name Lena Morrin, date of death, October 14, 2003, location classroom 305, cause fall from window. Undetermined witness Daniel Myers, a student, age 16. That was the part he'd buried all his life. The truth even he had forgotten. He had gone to Red Valley High. He had been in that room before. And the last time he saw Lena Morrin, she had been waving from the window. After Daniel Myers resigned, Red Valley High quietly sealed off the West Wing. Within a month, construction workers were hired to restructure the floor, though records show no formal approval or funding ever passed through the district's books. The hallway beyond room 304 was demolished, or at least, that's what they claimed. But the teachers who stayed behind said something strange kept happening. Every few weeks, the maintenance crew would find chalk dust in the air vents, though there hadn't been a chalkboard in that section since 2003. And sometimes, late at night, when the security alarms were being checked, the bell would ring once, only once, at exactly 8:17 p.m., always followed by a brief system malfunction, a flicker of static on the cameras. On those recordings for a single frame, a dark-haired girl could be seen standing at the end of the hall. Lena Morrin's file remains sealed under Oregon's education privacy laws. Her death was ruled an accident, but rumors persisted among older staff that she wasn't the only one to fall from that window, that another student years before had done the same. As for Daniel Myers, no one heard from him again after 2013. His apartment in Portland was found abandoned, lesson plans still stacked neatly on the kitchen counter. Among his belongings was a single blackboard eraser. Inside the fabric, someone had written in faint white chalk, "Present."